Om. Om. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryankaravavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्. Jai Gurudev, sorry about the delay. We saw these verses. Kamatmana svarga paraha janma karma phala pradam kriya vishesha bahulam bhogaishwarya gatim prati. And bhogaishwarya prasaktanam taya pahrita chetasam vyavasayatmika buddhihi samadhauna vidhiyate. I think we finished this also, right, yesterday?
No, that we started.
We just started this one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So the previous verse, Neha कामात्मान स्वर्गपराः जन्म कर्म फलप्रदां क्रियाविशेषबहुलां भोगैश्वर्यगतिं प्रति. So here Krishna is talking about, from even the previous verse, um, Yamimam pushpitam vacham pravadantya manishinaha Yami pravadantya vipaschitah vedavadaratav partha nanyadastiti vadinaha. So he is talking about, Krishna is now talking about those who are not clear about the end to be accomplished in life. The previous two verses, 40, 41, were talking about Vyavasayatmika Buddhi, how that Eka Buddhi is important once you get onto the path of moksha. Whereas those that give importance to just the karma kanda and for whom the ends are limited, either in this world or in the world in the hereafter. So, O son of Pritha, the non discriminating people who remain engrossed in karma, enjoined by the Veda and its results, arguing that there is nothing other than this, those who are full of desires with heaven as their highest goal for the attainment of pleasure and power, utter these flowery words that talk of many special rituals that are capable of giving better births and various results of actions. So the words are very flowery and very attractive. So this is what we saw. Let me just go to the next one. So not only are they Krishna lamented their plight here. Not only are they themselves carried away by these words, their conviction and their belief is such that they become missionaries and make sure they convince a few other people. The real reason for their missionary zeal is that they are not that sure. Their belief is only a belief after all. Believers have to become missionaries because belief means there is a doubt, and doubt means you require some strength. If you can manage to convince one person, then you feel secure. There is mutual strength and one helps the other. Groups are created in this way so that each member will have the support of all other members. The minds of those who are carried away by these enticing flowery words do not stay with the pursuit of Vedanta. With reference to what one must gain, there is no real clarity because this clarity cannot take place in the minds carried away by such words. The idea here is that if you do not allow yourself to be carried away by words, if you look into them, you will find that they fall apart. And if the words are not looked into, you will find that they are very pleasing and attractive. Therefore, people who have no discrimination are easily carried off by them. So here we discussed yesterday that the missionaries and the groups that are created are all with respect to karma kanda, rituals, special practices that do not talk of the ultimate truth, do not talk of Vedanta, but they talk of limited ends. भोगैश्वर्यप्रसक्तानां तयापहृतचेतसां व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिः समाधौ न विधीयते. भोगैश्वर्यप्रसक्तानां. For those who pursue pleasure and power exclusively, taya, by those words, apahrita chetasam, whose minds are robbed away, vyavasayatmika, well ascertained, buddhihi, understanding, samadhau, in the mind, na vidhiyate, does not take place. भोगैश्वर्य प्रसक्तानां तया अपहृत चेतसां व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिः समाधौ न विधीयते. For those who pursue pleasure and power exclusively, whose minds are robbed away by those flowery words, well ascertained understanding does not take place in their mind. Krishna had already unfolded the knowledge of Sankhya, and then he asked Arjuna to listen to the knowledge unfolded about Karma Yoga. Thus, when Krishna praised yoga in terms of Karma Yoga, as he did here, Sankhya was not being discussed at all. Often something is praised by comparing it to something else. In Krishna's praise of Karma Yoga, there was a comparison to pure karma done with a particular result in mind. The karma that is done with the thinking, I perform this karma for this given result alone. The result, phala, of pure karma is always limited. This is not the karma done for the sake of antakarna shuddhi, for purifying the mind, so that moksha will be gained. When karma is done in this manner for antakarna shuddhi, then the commitment is to moksha alone and you become a mumukshu. This is what we call yoga. So this para is very important because Krishna is talking about karma yoga now, and he's not discussing Sankhya. Sankhya was dealt with in all the verses prior, before he introduced Buddhi Yoge Tvimam Shrunu, maybe in the 38th to 39th verse. So, but usually praising is done in comparison with something else. And so that something else is just karma. Karma in the form of karma kanda. When he talks, Swamiji says pure karma, it means karma akin to karma kanda. Like all the Purva Pakshis talk of karma being the, the means to liberation. Right? So that pure karma versus karma yoga. How is karma phala different in karma yoga? Because the karma phala is towards antakarna shuddhi, whereas for pure karma, it is a limited end, like heaven, swarga, or limited gain in this world, power, wealth, or fame. Karma is generally done for the sake of a limited result, whether the karma is worldly, laukika karma, or scripturally based, Vaidika karma. The karmas that are done for gaining certain limited results are called kamya karma. The Shastra includes heaven also as a result of kamya karma. The people under discussion in this verse know the Veda and quote it, but only for the purpose of establishing the glories of karma and their results. Pushpitam vacham pravadanti. Words that are very flowery and pleasing to the ear are used in this way by these people. And they talk about the various karmas that can be done for the sake of gaining enjoyments, bhoga, and overlordship, aishwarya, meaning the wielding of power. Enjoyment and power are the only two purposes for which such people dedicate their entire lives. And committed as they are to their own desires, they also talk a great deal about it. The word Aishwarya means overlordship, implying different degrees of power. For example, a policeman controls people's driving habits. This is one kind of Aishwarya. Then there is a police inspector who controls all the policemen in his station and a commissioner who controls the inspectors. There is also someone else above the commissioner. The power wielded by all these people is in different degrees and represents different kinds of Aishwarya. So, Aishwarya is overlordship, different degrees of power. So, this is one of the ends for the karmis, those who do pure karma, who talk about pushpitam vacham. Now, without viveka, confusion is endless. Those who are totally committed to bhoga and aishwarya, who are engaged in the pursuit of enjoyment and power alone, are influenced by the flowery words that reveal the various types of karmas, the means for achieving different ends. These words are not only Vedic words, but colloquial words too, drawn from whatever hype that is available in the language at the time. Hearing these flowery words, which are very seductive, their minds are robbed away. They become apahrita chetasaha. In such people, the discriminative knowledge is so totally covered that nothing is clear. Naturally, such people do not see through these words. They do not see the limitation of these words because their discriminative capacity, viveka, is covered. For them, there is no vyavasayatmika buddhi, no clarity about what they want in life. That buddhi that is always the same, eka buddhi, is not there for them. Therefore, there are hundreds of ends to be accomplished and a variety of means also, resulting in confusion. When there is confusion, priorities are always a problem because you find that you cannot grab everything at the same time. In such circumstances, the mind can never be steady. Here in this verse, Krishna says that people who are committed to bhoga and aishwarya and whose minds are robbed away by enticing words praising the means and ends do not have clear minds with reference to what is to be accomplished in life. Where is it that such clarity does not take place? In the mind. Samadhau na vidhiyate. There is no other meaning for samadhi here because Krishna was talking about vyavasayatmika buddhi with reference to those who have no clarity, nischaya, about what they want, people whose minds meander. Therefore, this vyavasayatmika buddhi, which is eka buddhi, does not take place in the minds of these people. Those who do not have clarity have those who do have clarity have eka buddhi, meaning that there is only one lakshya, one goal for them. Moksha is the only goal to be accomplished. Shankara explains the use of the word samadhi in his commentary on the verse when he says that everything in the world reaches your mind alone. Samadhiyate asmin. In the mind alone, all the sense objects, all the experiences, the entire world that is in front of you are experienced by you. The eyes may be open and seeing, but what they see has to reach the mind before any seeing actually takes place. So here, Samadhau means in the mind. Antahkarane, buddhau. And what is it that does not take place in the minds of these people? Eka buddhihi. Vyavasayatmika buddhihi asmin samadhau na vidhiyate. Instead, the buddhi is a meandering buddhi, wanting this and that, like the mind of an active, bright child who's taken to a toy shop and asked to choose only one toy. Total confusion is the result. Such a beautiful example to talk of how they have multiple pursuits and total confusion. The avyavasayatmika buddhi is like a child who's taken to a toy shop and asked to choose only one toy. So, when a person who is already confused studies the Veda and finds that various actions will produce various results, his or her confusion becomes endless. It is like looking through a catalogue because you want to buy some gifts. Before long, you find that you yourself need something on every page. Not only do you find the whole world consists of so many alluring things, but you discover through the Shastra that the unknown world contains many more equally enticing and attractive things. The mind is thereby robbed away for those who are committed to bhoga and aishwarya, and their discriminative awareness is clouded. Therefore, Krishna emphasized the importance of having this vyavasayatmika buddhi. So, does anyone want to share before we go on to the next verse? So, it is very clear that this Atma Anatma Viveka is the cornerstone for a karma yogi. Also, it is the cornerstone for Eka Buddhi or Vyavasayatmika Buddhi. So, without this Viveka, one gets lost in the Bhoga and Aishwarya and think that pursuing limited ends is the goal of life, either here or hereafter, and that heaven alone is the ultimate end. So there for a sadhak who's pursuing this path, being aware and not getting carried away by this yamimam pushpitam vacham, they're all very flowery words, very enticing, and they look attractive. But with the viveka and the nishchaya buddhi, well, a certain buddhi, one has to be steadfast on this path. China would talk about dhriti. The dhriti is such an important aspect for a sadhak. This viveka leads to vairagya. Vairagya is dispassion towards pleasures here and hereafter.
Can you please explain Dhriti? I forgot again.
Dhriti is being steadfast, being on, once you get onto the path, staying on the path, being established in that path. And this path is what we talked about, what Swamiji talked about earlier, is the path that takes you in the opposite direction. It is difficult, it is wrought with a lot of challenges, because everybody else, the rest of the gang out there, is following the beaten path. But what you're following now is the unbeaten path. So there will be a lot of people around saying, what are you? You're wasting your time. You have to enjoy life. So there will be a lot of both Laukika karma as well as Vaidika karma. Even those that read the Vedas, the Karma Kandis and the Purva Pakshis they're all well versed in the Veda. And they will quote it. They will say, oh, this and this will happen. So there's every possibility of the mind getting carried away. But having that dhriti and having that nishchaya buddhi, vyavasayatmika buddhi, is what will keep us away from kamya karma. Kamya karma is all that karma that is done towards gaining a limited end.
Uh, Having the goal of moksha, we still keep, now that we are reading this Bhagavad Gita, all the knowledge is here, but still the mind keeps, you know, going to different scriptures or different kinds of um, talks. We get attracted. What about that? We have one goal now for moksha. Maybe that's not clear yet, but then we keep doing this, right? We read this.
Yeah,
We want
as
to
long as,
know something different.
correct, but as long as what you're pursuing is towards, is talking of Atma Jnana, that is fine. Although what Krishna says is following Bhagavad Gita alone is sufficient. But that way, even Gurudev, he didn't talk only about Bhagavad Gita. He spoke about the Upanishads. That's why we have the Prasthanatrayam. Prasthanatrayam is the Upanishads, Brahma Sutras, and Bhagavad Gita. And they're all like, it is like um, signposts on the path, pit stops, so to say. So it is fine as long as what you're pursuing is Atma Jnana and you're not straying away from that Advaita, it is fine. According to me, it is fine. Because you never know, um, this cleansing of the mind, this mind that is so dirtied by um, raga dveshas and the vasanas, how much of cleaning it requires and from what angles it requires.
Yeah, I think even one of the shlokas we read maybe 1 or 2 days before, it says that do whatever needs to be done for.
Yeah, you may be following any technique
Correct.
towards it,
Yeah,
right?
that's what it says.
Yeah. So even a sannyasi may be following some techniques too. That is a Vividisha sannyasi who is still not gained knowledge. He's still work in progress. He may also employ some techniques to prepare the mind. So all this will be towards that. So even there needs to be clarity. So this vyavasayatmika buddhi, nishchaya buddhi is anything that is done towards moksha. The thing is the clarity towards the end, that determines that nishchayatmika buddhi. And like there are many uh, paths to the same end. Again, it is not like there is only one way for moksha, one ultimate end, ultimate means to moksha is through jnana. But preparing the mind, you have two lifestyles, and that is sannyasa and karma yoga. So bhakti yoga, hatha yoga, all of that gets included in the karma yoga aspect. Somewhere Swamiji said it's not like there are as many paths as there are people. There are two lifestyles, and there's a common end for both these lifestyles and the means. The penultimate step for moksha is knowledge. Knowledge is moksha. It's simultaneous. The moment that knowledge dawns, see, it's all again boiling down to just avidya, avidya of our true nature, of our true self, right? So from this avidya, there are those three knots, primary knots that are binding the jiva to the body, to the deha, and thinking that these limited ends are what are to be accomplished. So you have avidya, kama, and then karma. These are the three primary knots that bind a person. So since avidya is the root cause, it can only be jnana. No amount of karma can get you moksha, bottom line, right? So that is why this yamimam pushpitam vacham pravadantyam vipaschitaha. They're all talking of just doing karma, and their end is also limited. They're short-sighted with respect to the end. And they think it's through karma that you can gain moksha. Whereas karma is born out of avidya. So something that
I
is,
think for that matter, moksha is not in their list.
it is
It's
not
only the, yeah, it's
correct.
only the heaven they have
Correct.
they go to.
Correct. They just want a comfortable life here and hereafter. That's it. Bhoga and Aishwarya. Whereas if you look at a karma yogi, even Arjuna, for instance, was only a karmi till he became a student. Because he did not want to be in that state of despair of he did not want to go through that sorrow of being a guru sudana. He was also short sighted in his, and he was saying in all his words in the Vishada Yoga, he talks of we will go to hell. So he was also limited in his understanding of what the end was. Going to heaven was important to him, and therefore he wanted to avoid being a guru sudana. But Krishna had opened up his mind to opened up that topic of ashocyan and vashochastva. You're grieving for something that is not to be grieved. It is the body that dies, but the Atma does not. Then he started off with Atma Jnana. He talked of Sankhya first. All the first 11 to about 38 or 37th verse is all about Atma Jnana. And now he's bringing his attention to Karma Yoga. Bringing his Karma Yoga is all about this life. And this, it is what is to be done. What is the attitude with which it has to be done? So we'll go forward. Anybody wants to share? Okay. त्रैगुण्यविषया वेदा निस्त्रैगुण्यो भवार्जुन निर्द्वन्द्वो नित्यसत्त्वस्थः निर्योगक्षेम आत्मवान्. Vedaha, the Vedas, Traigunya Vishayaha, have their subject matter related to the three qualities. Arjuna, O Arjuna, Nistraigunyaha, one free from threefold qualities. Nirdvandvaha, one free from the sorrow of the pairs of opposites. Nitya Sattvastaha, one ever established in Sattva Guna. Niryogakshemaha, one free from the anxieties of acquiring and protecting. Atmavan, one who is a master of oneself. Bhava, be. Vedaha, Traigunya Vishayaha, Arjuna, Nistraigunyaha, Nirdvandvaha, Nityasatvastaha, Niryogakshemaha, Atmavan Bhava. The subject matter of the Vedas is related to the three qualities. O Arjuna, be one who is free from the threefold qualities, from the sorrow of the pairs of opposites, one who is ever established in Sattva Guna, one who is free from the anxieties of acquiring and protecting, one who is a master of oneself. Shankara prefaces his commentary to this verse by saying that for the people who are committed to enjoyments and power, for those who do not have Viveka Buddhi, the subject matter of the Vedas becomes Traigunya Vishaya. This is not a full definition of the Veda, which contains much more, including Vedanta. What is meant here is that for those who are committed to Bhoga and Aishwarya, all scriptures will be Traigunya Vishaya alone. One usually looks in the scriptures only for what one wants to see. It is like going to a hardware store that has hundreds of things and looking only for what you want. Similarly, there are a number of topics in the scriptures and you look only for what you want. The Veda provides you with legitimate means for achieving various ends. There are unknown means for known ends, known means for unknown ends, and unknown means for unknown ends. Heaven, for example, is an unknown end because it is not directly known to us. Another Janma, a better birth, is also an unknown end that the Shastra says will be accomplished by a life of Dharma. Dharma is a known means because what is right and wrong is not totally unknown to me. The Veda confirms what means are right and wrong to accomplish this desirable unknown end later, be it heaven or another Janma. Previously, I did not know that if I did the right thing, I would get punya. And by doing the right thing, I not only get the result right here, drishta phala, but I get adrishta phala also, a later result. In this way, the Veda talks about known means for gaining unknown ends. It also talks about unknown means for known ends, like having a child. The ritual that is provided has nothing to do with having a child and is only performed when all other known avenues have been explored. If, after consulting doctors and following their advice, there is still no child, then there is definitely some obstacle, pratibandhaka. The only way remaining to remove the obstacle is through prayer. Therefore, the Veda gives a ritual, which is a prayer, not a broad spectrum ritual, but a specific ritual meant solely for having a child. Thus, you find that the Veda reveals a variety of means and ends, known and not known to us, but all of them are meant for limited results. These are what people committed to Bhoga and Aishwarya look for. For them, the Veda means only that part which relates to the three gunas, Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas, Traigunya Vishaya, meaning samsara. Sattva will give you some happiness, Rajas will give you agitation, and Tamas will give you dullness and sorrow. Thus, these three qualities are what give you joy and sorrow, Sukha and Dukkha. Samsara means that which is within the fold of the three gunas. Means and ends are not the only subject matter of the Veda. In this verse, Krishna advised Arjuna straight away not to be one for whom samsara is an end to be accomplished. He said, Nistraigunyo bhava. In fact, samsara cannot be an end to be accomplished. We already have it. We are already within the fold of the three gunas and are seeking freedom from it. A drowning man does not require more water. He is already drowning and will not want to get into the ocean. Similarly, we are already up to our necks in the ocean of samsara. Thus, samsara cannot be an end to be achieved at any time. It can only be a situation to get out of. Krishna was as though telling Arjuna, do not look into the Veda to find a better place in samsara. Be a little discriminative. You have come to the Veda, yet you are trying to perpetuate your samsara. It is meaningless. May you therefore become one for whom samsara is not there. Nistraigunyo bhava. Shankara gives the meaning in short. May you be free from desire. Nishkama bhava. That is, he says, may you be free from the desire for pleasures and power. Let these not be the end in view. Further, may you become free from the opposites, the causes of sukha and dukkha, nirdvandvaha bhava. Shankara also explains the words dvandva and nirdvandva. The causes, hetus for sukha and dukkha, pleasure and pain, are referred to as opposites, meaning of the word dvandva here. The one who is free from the opposites is called nirdvandva, free from the causes of sukha and dukkha. How can you be free from the causes of sukha dukkha? By not being dependent for your happiness on the presence or absence of anything. Cold and heat, for example, can make you unhappy. If they do, it means that you are dependent on their absence or presence for your happiness. That means that you are not nirdvandva. Another set of opposites is jaya and apajaya, victory and defeat. They also become the hetu, the basis for your sukha and dukkha. In defeat, there is pain, dukkha. In victory, there is elation, sukha. To this you may say, granted, I do not want pain, but why should I not be elated? The reason is that if you are elated, you are definitely going to have pain also. Therefore, may you not let the opposites affect you. Nirdvandvaha bhava. Since you cannot avoid them, may they not affect you. Although you cannot avoid winter and summer, you can allow them not to affect you by maintaining a certain composure or attitude towards them. In this way, you need not be carried away by changing situations, which may not always be to your liking. One whose mind, whose thinking enjoys a predominance of sattva guna is called sattvastha. When sattva is predominant, there is composure, discrimination, inquiry, and knowledge. Rajoguna, on the other hand, means agitation, ambition, and so on. Therefore, may your commitment always be to knowledge alone. Nitya sattvastaha bhava, so that you can discover yourself to be nistraigunya. Shankara also explains what the word niryogakshema means in his commentary to this verse. Gaining something that you do not have is called yoga, something that is not with you, something that you want to accomplish, something that is desirable. Kshema means having to protect what you have already gained. Say you do not have a job and you apply for one and then go for an interview. This is all done for the sake of getting the job, and therefore you are doing yoga. Once you have the job, it becomes another job to retain it. The whole job of retaining a job is what is meant by kshema. Similarly, earning money is yoga and hanging on to it, investing it is kshema. Having a child is yoga, bringing up and retaining the child, not losing it, is kshema. Getting married is yoga and making it work is kshema. Therefore, there is yoga kshema everywhere. A person's problems will always be related to either yoga or kshema. Either you do not get what you want, or you have lost what you had, or are losing what you have. From the hair on your head onwards, there are hundreds of things that we are losing which cause problems of anxiety, all of which are yoga and kshema. Krishna therefore said to Arjuna, may you be a person who has no concern or anxiety due to yoga and kshema. Niryoga kshema bhava. The whole idea here is that for those who are only concerned with getting what they want and hanging on to it, engaging themselves in the pursuit of moksha will be very difficult. Krishna did not say that you should not go for yoga and kshema. Rather, he said, let there be no concern born of yoga and kshema. In other words, may you be free. Further, Krishna said, may you be one whose mind and senses are with you. May you be Atmavan, a master of yourself. All of this is explained throughout the Gita. Otherwise, Krishna's words would have been merely advice and not teaching. This verse tells us what Krishna was going to teach. Here, Atma refers to the body, mind, and senses, and not to the Satchit Ananda Atma, which is already you. Because you have a body, mind, and senses, what is being said here is, may you have them. May they not have you. May you not be in the hands of your fancies. May your mind be with you. May you become free from indifference and mechanical thinking, pramada. In other words, may you become alert. May you be together. Those who are committed to Bhoga and Aishwarya see the Veda as having only the three qualities as its subject matter, Traigunya Vishaya, whereas it has much more to teach. For example, the contents of this verse are taught in the Veda. Vedanta is also a part of the Veda. Krishna was saying that Arjuna had learnt enough of the Traigunya Vishaya part of the Veda. Now it was time for him to study the other part, the Vedanta. Thus, he used the word Nistraigunya. He then went on to emphasize his point. I think we'll do some manana on this. I know it was a continuous read, but the flow of thought is that the Vedas have two parts. One is Traigunya Vishaya and Vedanta. So the whole Karma Kanda is all about the Traigunya Vishaya. The three qualities, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. So Krishna is literally telling Arjuna, Nistraigunyo Bhava. Be free from the pursuits. And this Traigunya is what samsara is made of. And samsara is bhoga and aishwarya. And all the pairs of opposites are embedded in samsara. Sukha, dukkha, jaya, apajaya. So he's saying, Arjuna, rise above this. Don't get entangled in this Traigunya Vishaya Veda. Nistraigunyo Bhava. And he talks also beautiful Nirdvandva, Nitya Sattvastaha, and Niryoga Kshema. And then he says Atmavan Bhava. One may argue, why did he say ask him to be Nitya Sattvastaha when he's asking him to be Nistrai Gunyo and Sattva is part of the Trigunas? Because Sattva is required to, to gain knowledge. Unless one is in that Sattva, one cannot. I can't remember the shloka which says that, but then Sattva is to be of the three gunas. Because Rajas is all about agitation, desire, ambition. Whereas Sattva is clarity, steadiness. Anybody else wants to share? Yeah. So there is composure, discrimination, inquiry, and knowledge when Sattva is predominant. One whose mind, whose thinking enjoys the predominance of the Sattva guna is called Sattvasta. So until that realization happens, we cannot be totally free from the three gunas. But of the three gunas, being established in Sattva guna will be the penultimate step before gaining knowledge. That is why Krishna has said Sattvastha Bhava. So, using that, being established in sattva, you become nistraigunya. Then even sattva is, you cross over sattva. And yoga is something that you do not have, but you want to have. And kshema is taking care of, protecting what you already have. So he's asking Krishna is asking Arjuna, Niryoga Kshema Bhava. I mean, these words are to be really, um, we will have to do manana again and again on these and do nididhyasana on them as well. So that we really understand the true impact of this in how these are affecting our day to day activities. How much of our daily life is our activity is towards yoga and kshema. Just imagine.
Yeah,
So right,
almost everything, no?
almost everything, right? So yoga and kshema is what is uppermost in our mind. But whereas here, Arjuna is taught by Krishna says, Niryoga Kshema Bhava. You leave your yoga and kshema to me. Do what is to be done fearlessly. In ninth chapter, he talks of Ananyas Chintayanto Ma Ejanav Paryupasate Tesham Nityabhiyuktanam Yoga Kshemam Vahamyaham. I will take care of your yoga and kshema. You just do what is to be done with Ananyas Chintayanto Ma. That Eka Buddhi, Vyavasayatmika Buddhi. So we'll stop here. It's 6 o'clock here. Anybody wants to share? Actually, we can do this verse again tomorrow or do manana on this and before going on to verse 46 and then 47 is a very important. All these verses, every verse is so important. Everything is an end in itself, which ultimately takes you to the points out to the truth. ॐ लोका समस्ता सुखिनो भवन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ तत्सत् श्रीकृष्णार्पणमस्तु जय गुरुदेव
Meditation is accepting this moment, living every moment totally with depth. Let us keep our spine erect and body relaxed and eyes closed. Relax your shoulders. Keep a big smile on your face. You're sitting like the statue of Buddha, very serene and with a serene smile on your face. Relax your body. Let's take a deep breath in and breathe out. Become aware of your chest region, throat and chest region. If you notice some tension in the body, just let it be. Except those parts of the body where you feel a tension, the other parts are in comfort. Other parts are at peace. Become aware of that also. There are many good things about you and inside of you. Acknowledge them. They will never leave you. And the negative aspect you may see in you is never going to stay with you forever. They are all guests for some time. Let them be. Sit with the total acceptance of yourself the way you are at this very moment. Total acceptance of what is now here will lead us to deeper meditation. Let go of all the effort. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let go of all your effort and be in this emptiness. And slowly and gradually become aware of body and surroundings. And you may gently open your eyes.